After years of scraping from the bottom just to get by. After now having established careers, we literally had the house, the car, the careers, the income. But now, after all this time, it was all falling apart. We had the perfect little family, a son, a daughter, and a dog. But now it's all falling apart. But why? Now, after everything that we have put into it, after all the work, all the tears, all the prayers, all the effort of having nothing and building it all together, why now? Well, we're about to call it quits. Can you relate? Can you relate to this? Maybe you've been there. Maybe you're there right now. In this video, I'm going to share with you my story on how me and my wife were on the brink of divorce. It was literally almost over. But then we found a way to overcome. We found a way to break free. We found a way to keep it together. In this video, I'm going to share with you just that. But more importantly, how you can do the same. Now, we offer a 5-day free Get Unstuck challenge to help you get your marriage unstuck. But it is a system, a framework on how it even is possible. But more about that later. So, looking back, me and my wife were married in 2010, and it was the perfect picture. 2 kids in love, with not much of our own, but a whole lot of love in between us. We had a son, and we were determined to make it together. I mean, we were living in this little trailer that my mom had gave us, and it wasn't much. I was working on a hog farm, my wife was bartending and going to school, and it was hard. But there was so much love. There was so much passion. There was so much in between us that kept us together, because it felt like we were all that we had. Me, her, and our son. And then you fast forward some years later, over a decade at this point. Now we have another kid, our daughter. We have changed careers. We were making a whole lot more money. We had bought land. We had bought a home. We had cars. We literally looked like the perfect family. And not to mention, we had a dog. But something was different. I mean, something was a lot different. I mean, it seemed like my wife just didn't love me anymore. After all that I had did, all the work, all the effort, I had sacrificed, all I had given, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. It was rough patch after rough patch, time after time. But then I was in prayer, and God told me, hey, He gave me a warning. And this warning made a huge blow up. Me and my wife, we had a crazy discussion. There was heartbreak, there was tears, and there was even contemplation of divorce. And I'm not saying it to be hyperbolic, I'm dead serious. We really almost called it quits. But something changed. Something shifted. Because we started looking for help. We started seeking out good counsel. Because the Bible tells us wisdom is found in good counsel, right? And it even warns us against bad counsel, right? Evil communication will corrupt. So let's not ask advice from people that don't have or aren't where you want to be. So we reached out to our pastor at our church that my wife and I were attending. And the pastor gave us some ideas, some tips, and even some exercises to do for us to get intentional about what was important to us so that we can become present in our thoughts. We can become present in our marriage again. Because what I came to realize after taking intentional time to think about why I love this woman, why I cared so much about her, what attracted me to her, what caused me to her. And she did the same. I began to realize that I had been in the house, but I wasn't present. I was so focused on building a career, getting the stuff, getting the aesthetics of perfection, getting the aesthetics of a happy family without actually having a happy family, without actually having a happy family. And then it shifted. It shifted for me. Because instead of posting the perfect pictures of family vacation, of a happy, smiling family, I just wanted that happy, smiling family in my home. I didn't care about the world anymore. I didn't care about how I was seen or perceived. All I cared about was that it was real. That it was real. But the truth that was revealed was, or the question that I asked when I realized what I wanted versus what I had was, how did we even get here? And it was an analogy that was pulled up about a drifting log, right? A drifting debris in a river or a lake. It can travel miles and miles, even hundreds of miles away, just drifting, because it's simply on the current, the flow of the water. And that's what happens in marriages 9 times out of 10. We get into our routines, we get into our systems, and we just begin to go with the flow. She's going her way, I'm going mine. We come back with the kids after school and we flow until bedtime, and then we wake up and we separate again. But what really happened was we were drifting apart more and more, year after year, even as we began to achieve, grow, find success, because those successes became our main objectives at times. Those successes were our objectives. Those successes were the big shiny objects that we cared about, that the world would see. But I'm here to tell you, those big shiny objects were distractions. Those shiny objects were the currents, the flows of this world that call us to drift after desires, not of God's will, not for the purpose and call of our family, but of our own hearts. And it's funny because the Bible tells us that the Lord would give us the desires of our heart, right? But it also tells us that by leaning closer to Him, He will create in us a new heart. So what's the desire? I tell you what, the desire that caused a rift, that was the selfishness. It was the pride. It was trying to be and do for everybody else perception so that I can be looked at. It's the great dad. It's the awesome husband. Without tapping into the one that could only be the true judge to if I was an awesome husband or a great dad. I had to make a shift. And that shift, it came in when we got that good counsel, that advice. My pastor was giving us tips and resources and exercises, and they simply shifted our mindset. It shifted the way that we saw each other. It shifted the way we even saw problems and obstacles. It shifted and reminded me that these principles were principles I had knew all along. These were principles, frameworks that I even taught and coached others in, but in a different arena. These principles, these three principles, are what I would call my methodology, is the 3H approach: head, heart, and hands. During the time where I discovered it, figured it out, it was all about bringing truth, bringing dreams into reality through head, heart, and hands. But what I realized is those dreams, those hopes, those desires could be for our marriages as well. Which leads me into those 5 days calls that 5-day challenge I talked about a little earlier. In 5 days, we go over the 3H methodology and how it can help you and your family, your marriage, truly get unstuck. Help you to become unstoppable and walk in the faith, walk in the love, walk in the truth that is the marriage that God has ordained. The first H is head. We address the head, the mindset. We dig a little deeper to address what mindset principles, what thought processes are stopping or hindering your progress and your growth in your marriage. We also go over our second H, which is the heart, which is tied to our emotions, our desires, our love. Many of us know that when it comes to success, you got to have a why. That why is usually emotionally driven. That reason, that hope that you have to achieve. Why do you need to? Your heart, your emotion. What's important to you? And what emotional hangups are stopping you? What is killing you from being the man, the woman that God has called you to be in your marriage? We address that as well. Hands, the third H. It's all about action. It's about the right tactics. It's about the right skill sets. It's about what to do and what not to do for success. And over the 5-day challenge, what you will get, what you will actually see is exactly what's been holding you back. What's been hindering your progress and your growth and your development? What's been stopping you from achieving and being? What's been stopping you from being able to be the man or woman of God you were called to be? And what's been stopping you from doing the necessary steps to have it all? What you also get is an action plan. What to do. Because after this challenge, you'll be equipped what you need to do. And also, you'll have an opportunity to continue. What does it look like for us to work together and go forward and have everything that your heart desires? What would it look like for your marriage to be the happiest it's ever been? What would it look like What would it look like if all the problems that you currently have, those current hang-ups in your marriage, were gone and dissolved? And we actually walk in the purpose and call that God has ordained for you. What does that look like? Let's find out. What I can say is the worst time in my life was that whenever me and my wife almost gave up. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt, for the sake of my marriage, my household, and my family, it was the best thing that ever happened. Because we came face to face with a stark reality that none of us really want to face. And that's that this is not just another rough patch. That this is a cycle. That something's wrong, and if we don't address it, nothing's gonna change. But if you want something to change, for anything to change, you first have to be willing to make the change. Now, if that's you and you're truly ready for a change, you're ready to shift and make a difference, click that link in the bio. Click that top pinned comment that says 5-day challenge. If you're ready to get unstuck, make your marriage unstoppable, become stronger, be the person that God has called you to be in your marriage, walk out on purpose, and fulfill the call, click that link. Let's lock in together and see what thus says the Lord. Till next time, be encouraged, be blessed, and know that you are not alone. Also, if you made it this far and you would like to join our free community, we also have a Facebook group called a Holistic Christian Community. We have Bible studies every Thursday night, locked in, focused on relationship growth and development, all centered in God's Word. So, you're more than welcome. Check the bio, check the links. Let's connect. And if you're ready to make a change, everything can change if you're willing to do the work. Click that link. I'll see you on the inside. Till next time. My name is Calvin Williams, the Holistic Christian Coach. God bless.